Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all who joined the session today. First of all, thanks to everyone to take time off your busy schedule to join the webinar. I'm Karthik Anandrao, Senior Product Consultant and Evangelist at Manage Engine with engineering and MBA degrees from reputed Indian institutions. I have over 17 years of IT experience serving in different capacities including system and network administration, IT management, and consulting. I have traveled across the globe for implementation, consultation, and training of Manage Engine products and solutions. Let us take a look at today's agenda. We're going to have a quick recap on what SNMP is all about, its components, its versions, MIBs and OIDs, which will be followed by the SNMP tools from Manage Engine. I'll quickly show you how to enable SNMP on Windows. There's also a tool from Manage Engine which helps enable SNMP on multiple Windows servers or workstations. We will then see how to perform an SNMP walk using Manage Engine MIB browser tool. We will get to understand the SNMP table with a set of OIDs in it. I will also demonstrate how traps are received. We will check the correctness of community string through the MIB browser tool. I will also show how to load MIBs and perform SNMP operations. Lastly, we will take a look at the standard error messages from MIB browser and how to troubleshoot them. As you all are aware by now, SNMP stands for Simple Network Management Protocol. It is an internet standard protocol to manage devices on IP networks. It is a standard way of monitoring hardware and software from any manufacturer, from Cisco to Juniper, from Microsoft to Unix, and so on. And SNMP has three components, the first of which is the managed device. This could be a network device like a router, switch, firewall, load balancer, printer, or it could be a server of any operating system like Windows, Linux, Solaris, HP UX, and so on. Or it could be any device with an IP and SNMP agent. The second component is the SNMP agent, which collects management information about its local environment. The device manufacturer configures SNMP agent on the managed device. You can think of SNMP on a Cisco router or SNMP on Windows or NetSNMP on Linux as examples of SNMP agent. The largest and the major component of SNMP is the SNMP manager, which manages to send or receive SNMP requests from managed devices. The SNMP manager is primarily a monitoring solution like NMS or EMS. Examples of such monitoring solutions are Op Manager, Applications Manager, Op Utils from Manage Engine. SNMP has three versions: SNMP v1, SNMP v2c, SNMP v3. The first two, SNMP v1 and SNMP v2c, pass the authentication string, widely known as the communication string, community string, in clear text. Hence, these versions are considered insecure by security analysts and are easily vulnerable for attacks. SNMP v3 is the most secure version of these three and has been used for administration and remote configuration of SNMP devices through view-based access control model and user-based security model. SNMP v3 thereby provides confidentiality of the data transferred, data integrity, and authentication. Each SNMP entity has an identifier called the SNMP engine ID, and the standard communication mechanisms available in SNMP v3 are no auth, no priv, auth, no priv, and auth priv, which stands for communication with or without authentication and privacy. OID, as you all know, stands for object identifier. It is defined in the MIBs as provided by the device manufacturer. It is unique and can be scalar or tabular. It is a dotted list of integers, and examples of OIDs are sysuptime, sysservices, in traffic, out traffic, and so on. MIB stands for Management Information Base. It is a collection of OIDs. SNMP agent maintains information database describing managed device parameters as defined by the manufacturer. Examples of MIBs are the standard RFC 1213 MIB, IF MIB, Armon MIB, Cisco MIBs, Juniper MIBs, etc. There are around 40 free tools from Manage Engine for day-to-day IT operations, of which 2 are SNMP tools. The first one is the SNMP MIB browser, which will help you perform SNMP operations on managed devices. The second one is the Windows SNMP enabler, which will help you to enable SNMP on Windows servers and workstations, and also to stop and start the SNMP service. Let us quickly see how to enable SNMP on certain devices. On Windows, you have to go to the control panel, select programs and features, and turn Windows features on or off from the left panel. From the list that appears, you have to choose SNMP Network Management Protocol. Let me quickly show you how to do this on a Windows box here. I've already kept the programs and features windows open. On the left panel, I see turn Windows features on or off. And once I select this, I get the list of Windows features. And from this list that appears here, you have to choose Simple Network Management Protocol. And as you can see, this Windows feature has already been enabled on my workstation here. Let me get back to the presentation. On a Linux or Unix operating system, the standard SNMP package is called the NetSNMP. It's an open source project, and you can download NetSNMP package for the right operating system. There's one for Windows too. On a Cisco router or a switch, you can configure SNMP from the terminal window using a set of commands as shown on the screen. In order that the SNMP configuration is loaded during the startup, you have to copy the running configuration to the startup configuration. Let's now take a look at the SNMP enabler tool from Manage Engine. This is a free tool to enable SNMP on Windows servers or workstations. You can install SNMP on Windows operating system and enable SNMP. You can start or stop the service. And let me show you how easy it is to use this tool. So as you can see, I can add host names from this option here, and the SNMP is already installed on my machine, so I'm just going to start the service. Since it is on my machine on my workstation, I don't have to give the username and password. So you can see the logs here, which will help you troubleshoot if there are any errors reported. You can perform the actions like start, stop on all workstations at one go. Let me get back to the presentation again. Next, we are going to look at the SNMP MIB browser tool. You can load or unload MIBs and fetch MIB data from managed devices with SNMP v1, SNMP v2c, or SNMP v3 agents. You can perform SNMP operations from Windows, Linux, and Mac devices. You can parse traps based on a predefined match criterion. You can view SNMP traps from SNMP agents and receive emails when a trap is received. The tool helps you to leverage the security defined by user-based security model and view-based access control model of SNMP v3. You can also view the SNMP table data and get graphical representations of integer or gauge OIDs in real time. Lastly, but not limited to this list of features, you can get the complete list of OIDs implemented on the device. So this is a screen capture of the SNMP MIB browser tool, and I'm going to show you real time and give a hands-on on this tool. So this is the Manage Engine MIB Browser free tool. You can see a set of MIBs preloaded in the left panel of the tool. The tool is icon driven. You can perform the get next, set, and SNMP walk operations. You can view the SNMP table data and also receive traps through the trap viewer. Let me get back to the presentation again. The next topic in our agenda is SNMP table. It is a group of OIDs against a particular performance attribute. And examples of such SNMP table data are the IF table and IP address table. I will show you how to get the SNMP table data for IF table on a SNMP enabled device. I have to expand the IF MIB. I am going to do so until I see the interfaces OID group. I am going to select if table and click view SNMP table and press the start button to receive data. I can start and stop polling for a period of time and click graph to view the data in a graphical pattern. Let me get back to the presentation. Next, let us do an SNMP walk on a group of related OIDs from the RFC 1213 MIB. And I'm going to use the MIB browser tool again. I'm going to expand RFC 1213 MIB until I get to see the system OID group. Let me click on the SNMP walk icon from the panel above to receive data from the SNMP device. Let me get back to the presentation again. To receive traps, you have to configure the trap destination and trap community string. Trap destination will be the host name or the IP address of the server or workstation on which the SNMP MIB browser tool is loaded. Firstly, I'm going to show you how to configure the trap settings on a Windows workstation or server. From the services menu, I'm going to right click on the SNMP service and click properties. I'm going to click the tab labeled as traps. I'm going to configure the trap community string and the trap destination. If the MIB browser tool is loaded on your workstation or laptop, you can choose to enter localhost as the trap destination. I'm going to generate an authentication trap by performing an SNMP query with an incorrect community string. And I may have to use the MIB browser tool and the trap receiver for this. So I'm going to open the trap viewer and I'm going to perform an SNMP query with incorrect community string. As you can see, as I performed the SNMP query with an incorrect community string, the trap was received here. I can click show details to view more information about the trap. Let me get back to the presentation again. The next in our agenda is to check the community string. So SNMP Manager uses the community string as authentication to receive SNMP data from managed devices. In order that you enhance the security of SNMP data received by SNMP managers, it is recommended that managed devices accept SNMP requests only from the SNMP manager and not from any other host in the network. Let me show you how to configure this on a Windows server or workstation. So I'm going to use my own workstation for this. I'm going to right click on the SNMP service and select properties. I'm going to click the tab labeled security, and you can configure the community string and the access level. The access level can be one of notify, read only, read write, or read create. In order to enhance the security, choose to accept SNMP only from certain hosts and click the add button to enter the host name or IP address of SNMP managers which can send SNMP packets. Let me get back to the presentation. The next option or the next topic in our agenda is to load MIBs. It is pretty easy to load MIBs using the MIB browser tool. You have to copy the MIBs as provided by the device manufacturer onto the MIBs folder in the installation directory of the MIB browser tool. You can then use the load MIB icon from the tool to load such MIBs. And this is the load MIB icon, and you can see a set of predefined MIBs within the tool. All you have to do is just select the MIB and click open, and it is going to load the MIB for you. Getting back to the presentation again, the next in our agenda is to perform SNMP operations on an SNMP device using the MIB browser tool. Let me start with the get operation. And I'm going to use the system OID group for this. Let me do a get operation on sys uptime using the icon in the top panel. So I'm going to expand RFC 1213 MIB until I see the system OID group. And when I expand the system OID group, I see a OID by name sys uptime. And when I click the get SNMP variable, it's going to get me the sys uptime value. The next OID to sys uptime is the sys contact. So when I do a get next, it's going to give me the response for sys contact. Let me do a set operation now. And I'm going to select the sys location OID, and we will set the value for this OID. Note that you will be able to set values to OIDs only when the access level is set to read write. So I'm going to set the value as block A. And this is the icon that I'm going to use for the set SNMP operation. And I'm going to do a get operation again on sys location to see if the value has been set properly. And yes, it is. Let me show you the response of OIDs from SNMP table again. And for this, I'm going to use the IP address table. I'm going to select the IP address table OID and then select view SNMP table and start, and it is going to fetch me all the interfaces within the SNMP device. Let me get back to the presentation. Sorry. Lastly, we'll have to do an SNMP walk on a group of OIDs. So let me choose the system OID again and do an SNMP walk. The next topic in our agenda is to troubleshoot SNMP. Firstly, you have to check the correctness of the community string. Secondly, check if there is any firewall between the SNMP manager and the managed device. If so, the port 161 has to be opened through the firewall. In order that traps are properly received, port 162 has to be opened through the firewall. The trap port 162 on the server should not be occupied by any other monitoring solution. To enhance the security of SNMP operations, as I showed you earlier, allow SNMP packets to be received by the managed device only from the SNMP manager and not from any other host in the network. You can also check other SNMP settings like timeout and increase the retries for SNMP requests. Lastly, you have to check the MIBs that are supported by your device type. Lastly, let's take a look at some of the error messages from the MIB browser tool. First off, let's take a look at the request timed out error message. And as you can see, the message would read like request failed, error request timed out to 192.168.101.101. This can happen when SNMP is not installed on the device, on the managed device, or it has not been configured, or if the community string is incorrect, or if there is a firewall which blocks SNMP requests on port 161. The second error message will read like no data available in this subtree. And this can happen when the SNMP agent is not configured with the MIB. The third one, it reads like request failed, get response PDU received from 127.0.0.1, error indication in response, there is no such variable name in this MIB, error index 1. This can happen when the SNMP agent cannot find such a MIB variable in its database, or the application or the MIB is not supported by the managed device or its agent. The last slide on error messages from the MIB browser tool, and I'm going to show you a demo on how to fix few errors from the MIB browser tool. For this, I'm going to load the checkpoint MIB. As you can see, the first error which says could not pass the file checkpoint MIB, could not resolve these sequence constructs CTV, TN, L, mon entry and FWIF entry. So I'm going to use the MIBs. I'm going to use the checkpoint MIB for this. I can open the MIB with any editor, WordPad or Vim. I can use this option to unload the MIB, and I'm going to load the MIB again. Let me open the MIB browser tool. I'm going to choose the checkpoint MIB, and you can see I get an error on if FWIF entry alone. So all I have to do is just edit the MIB with a MIB browser with a tool, and check for FWIF entry. And you can see the FWIF entry is at two different places, and at one of the instances the F is in uppercase. So it helps us understand that the MIB constructs are case sensitive. Now after fixing this error, I can load the MIB again. When I do so, I see errors CPV, TNL, MON entry and FWIF entry. I'm just going to search for them once again to fix the errors. So I'm going to change the cases, and I'm going to maintain the same case of all the alphabets everywhere. Let me check if the MIBs are loaded properly this time. Yes, it is. So the next error in our agenda is loading MIBs failed, imports failed, could not find the file application MIB. So I'm going to show you how to do this, how to rectify this error. This happens when the MIB to be loaded has few import constructs from other MIBs, and in such cases all the MIBs should be present in the same folder so as to enable the MIB browser tool to load the MIBs properly. So I'm going to load the MTA MIB for this, and you can see that it requires application MIB to be preloaded. So I have a copy of those application MIB. I'm going to copy them from a different folder onto the MIBs folder here. And let me see if I can load the MTA MIB again. Yes, I can right now. And you can see the MTA MIB has been loaded along with application MIB. You can open the MIBs with any editor, and you can see the other imports from MIB files. So as you can see here, this MTA MIB imports certain definitions or some constructs from SNMP v2 SMI, SNMP v2 TC, SNMP v2 conf, RFC 1, 2 and 3 MIB, and lastly the application MIB. Back to our presentation. You can download the SNMP MIB browser tool from our website. The links are given below. You can see the feature highlights and the FAQs on tool usage, and also send in your feedback. Lastly, we wish everyone to join the SNMP nuts and bolts community from Manage Engine, where you can find answers to questions from this webinar series along with the MIB database. You can share and upload MIBs. You can also share your thoughts on the webinar and suggest topics for the webinar series. And the short URL to download MIBs from Manage Engine's MIB database is shown on the screen. And it's now time for questions. A gentleman has asked us, is SNMP v3 used a lot? Yes, it is, so as to enhance the security of your network operations. And most monitoring tools use SNMP v3, have started using SNMP v3 right now. Is it part of Windows 2008? I'm not sure though, but I can verify that and let you know. You showed different access levels in Windows SNMP service. Could you explain the meaning of each of them? Yes, sir. The first one is read only, which will help you read or just query the SNMP device for a get operation. So you will not be able to set any values to it. Secondly, the second access level is read-write. So you will be able to receive SNMP response from the managed device and also write to some variables, just like as we did on syslocation. The next one is notify. It's just a notification message which you receive through the from the SNMP manager to the managed device, and that also needs a community string. So you will not be able to perform get or set operations with it. The last one is the read create, where you can create your own MIB variable and set values to it. So these are the different access levels. I repeat, it is read only, read write, read create, notify. We will wait for some more time for other participants to post their questions. If there aren't any, let me just continue with the last couple of slides. The next webinar will be on securing your enterprise with SNMP v3. The agenda and date of the webinar will be announced on Pitstop soon. Please follow us on the Manage Engine Pitstop to know the agenda and date for the next webinar. I'm going to have this webinar open for the next few minutes to see if there are any questions from other participants. It looks like there are no other questions from the participants here. Thanks for all your time. I look forward to meet you all again in the next webinar on SNMP v3.